So the first thing we're going to do is swap the nozzle from a 0.4mm to one that's been drilled to 0.6mm. We're going to be using Woodfill for this project, and it loves the larger nozzle. After we put it in, we'll bump the temperature on our E3D hot end up to 275 degrees, and then we'll give it one final tweak just to make sure we snug it up properly. Now, to get the weight we need, we put some cavities into the design that can be filled with something heavy. Usually Kiss Slicer doesn't like internal cavities and just does regular infill, but there's an awesome new feature in the 1.5 beta that lets you set which parts should be voids, and after it slices, you can see we have some real nice voids to fill with whatever we want to weight it with, and it's ready to print. So while that's going, we need to fill it with something to give it some heft. We found this coil of lead for making your own fishing weights at the outdoor store, and we're going to cut it up into small pieces so we can fill those cavities. The print's making good progress, and while this shot was being taken, we found a much better tool to chop up the lead. Spring-loaded tools are awesome and so much faster. Another thing we noticed is the larger nozzle outputs filament way faster, and the rotation of the spool is much more noticeable. You can see now we have some really nice cavities shaping up. But the real question is, how are we going to put the threads into it? Enter something extremely handy: coil-threaded inserts. You have a specially sized drill bit to open the hole to the specific size for a specialty tap. Now the tap has the same threads as the outside of the coil. And then you have your coils. You thread these into the tapped hole and voila, you have some metal threads to screw into. We've seen these used a lot on strip ski binding holes. We're nearing the end of the print here, and our cavities are looking really nice. They're almost ready to get covered over. So that means it's time to pause the print and add some wood glue to keep the lead from rattling around. And then finally, add the lead to give the knob its weight. Once the lead and glue are in place, we can resume the print and let it cover everything up. Voila, our ship knob is printed. Now we can move on to finishing it. This material is extremely tough. We spent an hour with 60 grit sandpaper trying to take a 1/16 of an inch off of it. Needless to say, fingers were very sore afterwards. Once we got the surface leveled, it was hit with 100, 150, and finally 220 grit sandpaper to make it nice and smooth. All that's left is to open up the hole a bit for the insert. Tap it up. and insert the coil. And bam! Now we have some metal threads. And that's not all either. We had some red mahogany wood stain laying about, so we decided to see how the material takes it. It's not quite as absorbent as regular wood, but the stain gives it a really nice patina. And it just so happens that it fits very well with the interior of an '87 Honda Accord. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you have any ideas for future episodes, don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Tweet us at @VectorFinesse, leave a comment on this video, or contact us through our Facebook page. You never know. Your idea might be the subject of a Will It Print Wednesday.